So here we are for another episode of the Hooten and Hollering podcast with my buddy here, T Pop.
What's going on, man?
It's
What's
been
up?
it's been a while. So some people watching, because some people that we used to work with, or that you used to work with, that I still work with, watch this. So they're definitely gonna pop for pop.
That's
So
cool. Well, shouts out to all of them.
yes, all those people. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so today's topic is going to be about astronomy and outer space and just anything out there. You never know. So,
Yeah.
what made you like sort of intrigued? Has it been since you were younger?
Yeah, so when I was little, my uncle, shout out to my Uncle Pete.
Uncle
He
Pete?
uh he Uncle Pete, he bought me a telescope. I must have been like 6 or 7 years old. Um, and then I remember I would stay up late, wait till it got super dark outside, and then just try to look at whatever I could see up there, and like
Yeah.
my imagination would run wild as to like what I could potentially be seeing or what's out there. And I
Yep.
remember like going to bed afterwards, just like thinking like, what what is that, all that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's
Yeah, I
really
used to
kind
have
of
a
what
telescope
started
when I
it.
was younger. Yeah. I got
Yeah,
Lily a
man.
telescope too. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause for Christmas, she loves outer space. She's like a mini me. Like
Yeah.
I've always like you when I was younger. When I got my first telescope, I'd look up there. I'm like, that doesn't look that far away. Like I was like, like even though it's probably light years away, which is crazy
Yeah.
how far we could see at night.
It's just crazy that you're looking at a whole different star or planet. You know what I mean?
It
It's
is. It
wild
really
to me.
is. It is pretty cool. I mean, how about shooting stars? You've seen shooting stars before, right?
Have seen shooting stars. I had to wait kind of to see shooting stars. I grew up in New York City, and it
Yep,
was
in Queens, right?
in Queens, New York. But there's too much artificial light to kind of see some of that stuff,
Yeah, light pollution they call it, but yeah.
light pollution. Yeah, so
Yep.
I kind of had to wait until I moved up in the Hudson Valley area in New York to see some of those like shooting stars and even
Yep.
like certain planets and stuff you can't really see in the New York City. You know,
I would imagine with all those sky rises and stuff too, it probably blocks a lot of shit too.
it does. It
Yeah.
definitely does. But it once I got upstate, it kind of
Yeah.
I was able to see more, and then it just intrigued me even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I've always been like, I never really wished to be an astronaut, but I've always been intrigued by it. It's just so weird. Like the unknown has always been very intriguing. Like they say we know a lot about space, that we know more about space than our own oceans, which is probably true. But like we still, like with the human eye, I think it's like we could only still see 5% of outer space from Earth. Like
Yeah,
that's how tiny it is for us.
and we honestly we don't even know that because we only
Exactly.
know as much as we as humans know about outer space. It could go on for much more than we even think. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I've also be like I don't want to get on the topic of aliens too much because that's going to be a whole other episode, and I definitely believe that it is possible, but you'd have to be pretty naive to think we're the only living things in this whole entire space. Like
I'd be willing to say there's no shot that we're the only living,
yeah,
even if it's not like human, like like there's got to be something else.
even if it's a fucking germ or something, or like something microscopic. If it's living, it's living. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way that we're the only, like Earth is the only thing that's inhabited right now. Like
Yeah,
there's no way.
well, we've even like found other planets that we suspect would be able to hold some type of life, like living
Yeah.
organisms in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
out of our galaxy though, probably. Like
yeah,
yeah, our galaxy, I think Earth is probably pretty much the only thing right now in our galaxy anyways that could support life.
pretty
You
much
never know.
the closest to Earth that we know is actually Mars in our own
Yep.
galaxy,
Yeah, and
which
that's
is
what's cool.
wild.
Like I said, like I always come prepared with these little notes and whatnot that I have because I don't really know much about outer space. So I did a little bit of deep diving today, in my free time between doing shit. But like I was like, let me look up some cool facts in different planets because honestly, most of us we learn about space in school, but then once that sort of goes away, it's sort of, unless you're intrigued by it or you're like absolutely amazed, like most of us don't really follow it much. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our day-to-day life, it doesn't really affect much. You know what I'm saying? Like as
Yeah.
conceited as it sounds, you know what I'm saying? It's like who cares what's going on out there? But I mean, it could be more important than anybody realizes. But
That's true. That I
like with
mean,
Mars, like I couldn't even name all the planets before today again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd have to actually sit there and think, you know?
yeah. You know, one thing that makes me, well, I know all the planets because this I'm like a nerd, but
Yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
you're
it
it's one of your things, you know?
it's just one of my things. But it's that I don't know if you're familiar with the show Drake and Josh.
No, I did remember seeing that when I was younger. I think that was just a little bit past like my time. Like Drake and Josh were
Yeah.
on Nickelodeon, right?
Yes.
And they got popular like right after I was like a little bit older than I would be to watch that show.
Yeah, I would say they got popular like right after the actual like cartoon-ish Nickelodeon
Yeah, like the
shows.
Doug Funny and Rocco's Modern Life shit. That was
Yeah,
more
but
my shit.
but they had like a song. I guess it was like an assignment or something like that. I forget exactly why, but they had a solar system song. So like if you're familiar with Drake and Josh, you probably know all the planets because you remember the song.
Really?
Yeah, and it was horrible, the
I wish we
song,
could play it. Damn it. I don't
but
know if we can play it for licensing agreements, but
I don't know. But whoever's listening, go look it up.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, but like you said about Mars, I had a little notes here with Mars. Obviously, it's called the red planet, but
Yeah.
they said it was thought to be once like Earth. Like it used to have water back in the day because they found like dried up riverbeds and different fossils, I guess, that could have supported life and whatnot there, which is pretty neat too. And
Yeah,
did you know it's named after the Roman god of war, which I thought
I
was
did
pretty
I
cool.
did not know that.
Yeah, Mars.
That
Yeah,
that's pretty cool though.
yeah, I didn't know that.
I know that they suspect they meaning the scientists suspect that there was uh the opportunity to inhabit life at one
Yeah.
point there. Even to the point where I remember either earlier this year or late last year, they actually discovered that there's still seismic activity on Mars.
Wow, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, so
So there's still shit moving around and
it's
stuff.
still alive.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild. And then we have what was it? Another one that I thought was pretty cool was Neptune, because Neptune, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the farthest away from the sun, and
Yeah.
it's extremely cold. But what I thought was really weird is like on a lot of other planets, dude. Like a year there is like for Neptune, 1 year here, or sorry, 1 year there is equal to 165 years here on Earth.
Yeah, so
Like
we won't
what?
even make a whole lifetime, won't even be a year on Neptune.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I think it was Neptune too. They said that it's only rotated around the sun once since we've actually discovered it.
Which is crazy.
like that's wild, dude. Like cuz you think like we're so accustomed to 24-hour days cuz that's all we know, you know? But like when you think
Yeah,
about the earth's rotation cuz we were explaining it to Lily the other night because she loves outer space and she's reading a book about astronomy right now, which is sort of ironic. But
that's
like
pretty
she
cool.
didn't understand like the earth spins but then also rotates around the sun at the same time. And we explained to her like when you're spinning that's a day, when you go around the sun that's a year, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like she was so like amazed. And it's funny because like I would have never thought about that or thought about any of this until I was helping her read her book. I'm like, "Oh shit, that is really cool." So I'm finding like another new thing I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, think of it like this. We found out that Pluto was a planet and then wasn't a planet, all in the I guess realm of within 1 year of Neptune.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. It's wild because like in 2006 they deemed that it wasn't a planet anymore, and I'm like, what the hell? Like literally my whole entire school life, because I graduated in '06. Like my whole entire school life, Pluto was always a planet. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the hell? Like, and honestly, like it's still big, but it's actually not that big because I was reading up. They apparently Pluto is barely the size of the United States.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a big asteroid if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess so. You
But
know, I know they say it does have mountains on it, and they said that 1/3 of the whole entire thing is water.
yeah,
It's
frozen.
like it's just ice or something like that.
Yeah.
It's wild, and you know what's funny? That's another thing. You would think, yeah, it's probably freezing up there, but it's also hot in some spots at a time too. But like water, is life, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how is there nothing else out there when there's this much water floating around there?
It's just Pluto's so far. So our sun, right, is not one of the biggest stars that
No,
that we know
which is
about, right?
wild.
It's actually one of the smaller ones. So
That's just
if
nuts.
it's nuts, but Pluto's so far from our star, our sun, that it's just forever freezing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true too.
Um,
Yeah, because that's
it
farther than Neptune.
yeah, yep. So if you took Pluto and put it on, in, one of the bigger stars that we know of, like maybe the biggest star, it would probably be like Earth's temperature, and Earth would obviously just be
Yeah,
molten lava.
yeah, that's true too.
But
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
wild. And to think that our sun isn't one of the biggest, because you could fit, what is it, over 1 million Earths into the sun?
yeah, the sun's huge, but it's
It's
just comparatively, you
nuts.
know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just, think about it, like it's just what it could be endless, man. Space is endless, like really.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. Black holes freak me out. You know anything about black holes?
Yeah, so I was kind of hoping. I don't know what's in your notes, which is kind of like a
Oh no,
surprise.
yeah, no, no. You could literally, all I did was write down the planets, different facts about each planet, and then I did like these fun facts on the back here that I found very interesting. So, but we could go over them whenever. So, but what do you have
Yeah,
for
I
about
mean,
black holes? Because
well,
those things are mysterious.
so that's the thing. Like, I feel like no one really has too much on black holes. It's just
Yeah, because we
so
could be inside of a black hole right now, right?
well, not really. Do
No.
you know? So a black hole basically is it's mass, right? So it's like, for instance, it's a star that stars. What happens with them is they expand and
Okay.
then they retract when they like dwarf and they don't become. It's not a star anymore.
Okay.
So it's like that's going to happen with our star. It's going to expand in however long, millions of years. It'll
Mm-hmm.
expand, it'll swallow up like Mercury, Venus, probably Earth. And
Oof.
then and then what happens when you separate all those molecules and that energy, eventually it loses its steam and it condenses so much that it becomes a dwarf star. After that, we suspect that it becomes a black hole, which is just
Oh.
like a crazy dense amount of mass where if you were to just happen to walk into a black hole, you most likely wouldn't make it out.
Yeah, you'd be turned into spaghetti. I think they use the analogy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that's what black holes derive from. There may be other ways that they become, black holes. I don't know about all
that's
that.
strange. And they say, like, with the black hole, like you could barely see them in space. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah,
what I guess, like they say, like if you're able to see them with whatever technology we have to see them, it's literally just black mass. Like, you can't tell the difference. If there's no stars in the area, you might want to stay away from it, I guess. Like, that's just nuts. And
yeah. They're
apparently there's such
just
thing as white holes too, which is the complete opposite, that spit matter out.
yeah. So that's like I'm surprised that you even knew that because that's like a newer a
It's
newer I guess
conspiracy,
theory. Yeah,
supposedly,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean that type of stuff for me, it's just like that piques my interest. Black holes, wormholes, they pique my interest.
What's the difference between a wormhole and a black hole?
So a wormhole, think of like a teleportation device.
Okay.
That's kind of like what a wormhole is, where
Oh.
if you have a piece of paper and you fold it and then like take a pencil and poke a hole through like either side,
Yeah.
that's kind of like what a wormhole does. Instead of having to go around
Oh, you just go
something,
straight through
you
it.
just go straight through it. Now, obviously, we have
That's
no
pretty
idea
sick.
where it's gonna bring you,
That's true too. Yeah. Oh
but
man, that's gambling at its finest.
it's kind of like if y'all have ever seen the movie Interstellar.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a good movie, man.
Yeah, it is.
Trippy. Very trippy.
But that's
That movie made me think. That's the one with Matthew McConaughey, right?
mhm.
And what's his name?
I'm
What's
not
another
good with
dude in
actors'
there?
names.
Yeah. But no, that movie was nuts, dude. That made me think. I was like, "Oh my god." It almost reminded me of Einstein's theory. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
Einstein had a lot of theory about space and travel and aliens, and how he actually thinks aliens, not to get back on aliens, but he thinks aliens is just us from the future.
I'm cool with it. Like if we want to talk aliens, I'm I'm
I
passionate
mean,
that there's other
oh yeah,
stuff.
well, okay, cool. Because I'll save you for another episode because that is a whole episode in itself, man. I have a
Yeah,
whole
I'm
thing on.
down.
I have a whole thing on aliens and ancient civilizations about the Anunnaki and all that stuff. So,
Oh, yeah,
but
so future
yeah,
episode alert.
yes, future episode alert for sure. Yeah, that's next on my docket, really. So, but like, yeah, it's black holes have always intrigued me. White holes, that's something new, like you said. And now I just came across that in my research today, where I was like, what the hell? I've never heard of a white hole before. And
Yeah.
literally, it's just the opposite. And I guess it does make sense for that to be out there because where would the matter come from to begin with?
My
You
question
know?
is, it alludes to what we were saying earlier, man. It's like we know about black holes, white holes, to an extent, wormholes,
Yeah,
but what else is there that we don't know? You know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's why I like astronomy and space. It's just because like we could literally find anything, and we could find things that our brains can't even comprehend.
Yep,
Like think about
absolutely.
this. Like if you think about space, right?
Yeah,
At least for me, I mean, my brain it can't process the end of space. Like I don't understand.
no,
Like how do we describe the end of space? Is there an end? You know what
I
I
don't.
mean?
I don't think there's an end. That's what's weird. I think it's infinite.
It's infinite, but my brain
It has
can't process that.
Yeah, I know. No, it's hard for us to process no boundaries because like we're all so conditioned as people since we were born. There are
Yeah,
boundaries no matter what, like, but then you have the people who break that little bit of matrix, the people that, back in the 70s and 60s that are on psychedelics, what I'm
yeah.
saying? You have some kids nowadays that are doing other stuff, what I'm saying, or just hippies in general. Like they see past those certain boundaries and you're like, you're just crazy, like but
No, that's
like
a fact.
when you look at it with a logical point of view, you're like, there really is no boundaries. Like we don't know. The
No,
fact that we're sitting here on a rock, what I'm saying, that's spinning
floating.
literally over like we're traveling over 1,000 miles an hour right now, but yet we're not moving right now.
Yeah,
Technically
and
we
we're
are,
just
but like
suspended in midair. Like, what are we floating
it's
over?
nuts. It's
You know?
nuts. It's nuts because like if the earth was to stop right now, none of us would even know it. That's how quick it's wild.
No, but I will say I think it's cool that we've been able, I guess in our lifetime, our parents' lifetimes, we've kind of mastered the science of our Earth
Oh yeah.
in regard like we know, as you said earlier, like we know that the Earth spins on a 23.5 degree axis, right?
Mhm.
We know that how we know how and understand how every planet circles the sun, and they do it differently. Like the Earth does it more
Yep.
spherical than like Neptune does it more in an oval shape,
Yep.
and Neptune and Pluto cross paths occasionally,
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's crazy that we've even been able to learn what we've learned, and I feel like we do take that for granted because no one really
Absolutely. I mean,
speaks
think
about
about it.
that.
In the amount of time that we've been able to do this too is just outstanding because it wasn't that long ago. If you think about it in the bigger picture, it wasn't that long ago we were using sticks and rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't,
Yeah,
even then, like we just created electricity not that long ago either, like or
it's
or maybe
wild.
we founded electricity technically speaking, but
You know that your
like
cell phone has more processing power than NASA's computer systems had when we went to the moon in 1969.
oh, I totally believe that. I
Crazy though.
totally believe that. Yeah, it is pretty nuts. Just the fact that technology that we have nowadays in our hand is just phenomenal. But like the moon landing, I mean, we could try to touch on that. I don't know, but like to me, I definitely believe that we were there. I don't think that footage was real. That's just my personal opinion, but
I don't even know. I mean, I think I think the race to space with Russia was real.
absolutely. And I think that's why we faked it in order to make it look like we won. And everybody was just like, oh shit,
And
you
that
know.
may have happened. That may not. I don't want to be disrespecting, the astronauts.
I don't want to be disrespectful either, you know what I'm saying? But like it's just when they're approached, the ones that are still alive, specifically Buzz,
Yeah,
like when they're approached, they get very, very I mean, I get it, maybe over the years just getting annoyed with it, but they get very weird about it, you know?
yeah.
Not today's astronauts. We're definitely up there now. You know what I'm saying? Like some people believe that space isn't even a real thing. I can't go that far. I can't go that far, but I will say, is it
Yeah.
possible that the moon landing could have been faked, just to make it look like we got there first? Yes, I think it's possible. Will we ever know for sure? Probably not.
No, I could agree to that. I mean, I would like to think that it's not fake.
I would like to
Um,
too. I mean, that'd be something, one hell of a thing to be proud of.
yeah, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that I think we could both agree that we are there now, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
even beyond, like we're landing rovers on other planets now, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep. Which sucks too, because like that was another thing I was looking up too. I didn't realize how many gas giants we had. I didn't realize that. Like, which one is here? It was it Jupiter? Yeah, Jupiter. It's made of the whole thing's made of gas. You can't even land anything there. I didn't know
Mm-mm.
that. I
It's
didn't know that.
Oh no, Venus has uh rock, but it's Jupiter, it's Saturn, it's Uranus. Those they're all gas planets.
Yep. I was gonna get over that. That was actually on the fun fact, the way to pronounce it, because everybody says Uranus, but it's
I
Uranus.
mean, that's the best way to say it though, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there's gonna. Yeah, what was it? What was that joke? There was a sloth meme back in the day. It was like there's gonna be well, actually, that's when Pluto was already taken off. So there's gonna be 7 planets after I destroy said planet, which I thought
Man.
was fucking hilarious. But it was funny because like I've heard it pronounced as Uranus, but I'm like, that's a weird way to say it. I've always said Uranus. But
Yeah, that's the way you're supposed to say it. That's the
yeah,
science way, you know.
yep,
I
because
want it
it's
to sound
technically
real
named after
scientific.
somebody. Yeah, you wanted to sound scientific,
But
but yeah,
it's
no, I
crazy because
was
like I'm sorry, I keep going,
no,
my
no, you're
bad.
good, you're good.
I was gonna say Jupiter's an all gas planet, but and we don't know this for sure. I think it's like there's like between 75 and 85 moons or something like that that Jupiter has. And those are
Oh yeah,
rock, you know, and dirt structures. So the
yeah,
planet's all gas, but they have a gravitational field because
which
they're
is weird, yeah, because most of those gas planets are what made out of it's hydrogen and helium, right?
mm, and a
Which
bunch
is
of
just
other
nuts.
deadly gases that will kill you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, Jupiter has 67 moons.
67.
Oof.
Jeez.
And it's got the red spot, which is a storm, I guess, that's been brewing and going for over centuries.
Yeah, it's crazy. So those things are crazy. With Jupiter in this situation, light it takes time to travel. Light does. So like we could see
Yeah.
that storm in Jupiter, and that could be like totally gone right now.
Yeah, that's what's weird too about light years, because I was watching a video earlier on something. It was like outer space, and it was like certain things that are like, if it says that it's 500 light years away,
Mhm.
that means that by the time it gets to your house or that you can see it, it could have been 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. That
So
is
we could be
wild.
looking at stars and other whatever galaxies and far away that are just completely gone.
Yeah, they're not even there anymore. That's what's weird, because like what you look up in the sky, you're like, I see it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
That may be right, but that might be a star that used to exist. That's
Yeah.
just it's
Or it could be
wild.
in a different phase now. It could have swelled up to be like a red giant or something like that.
That's true too.
You
Isn't
know?
that wild though? Like that's something I also can't comprehend. Like my brain, like I'm like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense, because like we're so used to and conditioned to say if you see it, it's real.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well,
in that
it's
case,
not. It was real at one point.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's strange, man.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. That whole the light years thing, it took a while for me to be able to like really process it right because it's like
Yeah,
it's just as you said, we're so conditioned. It's like, well, I see it, you know, it's
yeah,
right here. But it's just so odd that things are so far away that it takes that long for us to see the deviation of whatever's happening over there.
yep. And that just goes to show you too how little we know as humans too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just wild to think that like there's so much more that we could probably understand if we knew how to access that.
Yeah, it's again with humans, like I'll give us credit. We've pretty much mastered the earth.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
except like I don't know, like what do you think about inner Earth? I know we're talking about space, but like the
I
inner
think, oh,
Earth.
I think this is good because I think these kind of go hand in hand. And you said the ocean earlier too. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with space too because we just don't know so much
It
about
definitely
it.
does because you think about it this way: if we didn't have what we had with Earth and the way that it reacts, that water could just
Yeah.
disappear.
And
Like what's holding the water here? It's our atmosphere.
that's true. And our moon's the one that pulls tides. So like
Yeah,
that's a whole other topic.
yeah. Which is yeah, and that was another thing that came up too. It was on one of the facts. I didn't realize it, but apparently the moon keeps getting farther away.
Little by
It's
little.
it's 0.38 centimeters a year. I
Yeah.
guess it's slowly drifting away. I mean that
Which
would
is,
take forever, but
yeah, I don't even know
which I
what
guess
would,
is why they say the Earth is not really a perfect sphere. It's actually almost like a slight egg shape to it now
yeah.
because of the moon's distance that's slowly, I guess, pulling us in a different direction.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the more the moon kind of pulls away, the less spherical the Earth gets. It's nothing that we'll ever be able to see with our eyes.
No, no,
Um,
never.
Never. But yeah, I guess statistics scientifically that's the case.
I wish I don't know if they make it, but they should make telescopes for like phones where you could just use your phone to zoom like a telescope. They got to have that technology soon.
I mean, you might you might
You want
want
to
to
sit down?
patent
Sit
that.
down. Looks like we have our guest. I called this.
Oh, nice. Hi,
There we go.
I can't see.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Hold on.
Um,
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to adjust your screen there, but
yeah, let me.
let me do this here. Sorry,
Oh, now I
folks,
can
we're
see.
messing around with our screen
I
here. There we
think. Oh,
go.
oh, oh, oh.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I heard you guys were talking about space.
So this
Yeah,
is
we're just
Vicky.
nerding
So
out.
let the audience know this is Vicky popping in here. You've seen her in a couple other episodes. My lovely wife here.
Sorry.
We're talking outer space and astronomy, honey,
Yeah, I know.
not astrology. That
Astro-
that that might be a different topic. I don't know,
Mm,
but
I'm
yeah,
like
Yeah,
leaning.
that
but we're
I don't
we're
know
just
anything about that.
yeah, we're just nerding out now. You know.
No, I heard you guys talking about, the moon landing and
Oh, oh,
space
you heard
and
about that? I
yeah,
didn't know you were here for that.
yeah, I was. I was
Oh,
I had
okay.
just like walked in and I was kind of settling in
Yeah,
and I do have my own little theory on that.
on the moon landing.
Yes.
Oh,
I guess we'll
let,
touch on a little bit of
yeah, let's
conspiracy.
let's hear it.
We can
Let's hear it.
backtrack a little bit.
Real quick, I don't mean to backtrack, but I don't think we went to the moon when we said we did. And I also find it very strange that NASA claims that they don't have the blueprints to the original aircraft that brought us to the moon. And because of that, we can't go back. We have not gone back. We don't have the materials to go back. We can't go back. I think that's weird.
Really?
Yes. Look it up.
I'd have to. That's
Look
another thing to
it up.
research, I guess.
Yeah, I
Look
didn't know
it
that
up.
we never sent people back. I know we send like other
We
things there.
we sent missions
Yeah.
and other things there and
Yeah.
rovers and stuff like that.
Yeah. But
But that's pretty
isn't it
wild.
weird? Like that's so weird.
It's
We're
what's
more
weird too is like there's no well, obviously it's not really weird if for scientists that know it, but like there's no wind. There's no wind on the
I
moon.
mean, yeah,
So
if you
like
if you
what
really want to start going into the fact that the flag was waving, there
Yeah, it
there is
was.
that's
there
true too. The flag was waving and there were shadows, which was the shadows were a little weird too, but
apparently there is a scientific reason to why the flag was waving. I don't know it.
I guess so. I mean, if you think about it, there's got to be a scientific way to describe anything. I mean, look, we were just talking about light years.
Yeah, that's
Like
so
light
wild too.
years in
Yeah.
themselves are hard to put your mind around.
No,
The
I,
fact
I
that you
heard you
could
guys
look at
saying that
something,
too.
you know what I'm saying, and that might not even be there anymore, but you're looking at it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
a star could have exploded 20 minutes ago, and we're staring right at it, and we're
years
like,
ago.
wow.
Yeah,
Well, no, it's just the concept,
yeah, it's
you
wild.
know.
Yeah.
It is
It is
wild.
kind of crazy.
Do you have a favorite planet?
Who
Besides Earth,
Um,
because we live here.
besides Earth? Yeah, no, you can't be biased. I
biased?
mean, like,
Um, I kind of like Saturn. I like the rings.
me too. Me too. I was gonna say I like Saturn just because of the rings and just the weird shape of it. It looks cool. And
Yeah.
the fact that you could have all those floating rocks just in perfect formations going around.
To make a ring.
Yeah, what is it? It's rocks, ice, and some other stuff, right? It's like it's a bunch of debris.
Well, let's
It
pull
yeah,
our
that's
8-year
a
old
good way to
book.
put it. It's
Yeah.
debris.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
actually, I just
Debris.
Debris.
Mhm.
Lily is really into space, and we actually just last night when we were doing her 20 minutes of reading, we were reading about Saturn
That's pretty cool.
and all the
That's
degrees. That's why
crazy.
I'm like, let's pull Lily's book. It's it's a little more education for us here.
Yeah, no, that's why I love reading her astronomy stuff now. I'm freshening up on what I knew and learning new stuff now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty of reading children's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never ending
books.
learning.
Educating us
But yeah,
instead of
It's
no,
crazy that
instead of
it
her.
does educate us.
it definitely
We're like,
does.
oh yeah,
So
I
I
forgot
did
about
write
that.
down here Saturn. One day on Saturn is approximately 10.7 hours here on Earth.
that's pretty crazy.
And what's weird too, what's even weirder is the fact that their years are way longer. 1 year on Saturn is 29 years on Earth.
Wasn't that
Isn't that
determined
nuts?
by how
Like it
long it
It
takes,
is.
takes to go around the
yeah,
sun, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Just
So
making
it
sure.
takes Saturn 29 years to go around the sun.
So we would all be 1 year old on Saturn.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, like a year and a half, maybe.
Not even.
Yeah,
Not even.
that's
I'm
true.
Not
I'm
even.
30, so I would
Yeah,
be
and
a
I
year and a day.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
31, so what
It's
would I be? A year
wild,
and 2 days?
Yeah,
and
it would
I
be like,
actually where is it? I actually wrote down on a couple of things too. Like a year on Mars is 687 years,
Yeesh.
which to me didn't seem accurate because it to me it would make sense, but I don't know how fast Mars orbits compared to us because Mars is what the fourth planet from the sun. I think it's right next to us.
yeah, yep. If
Yeah,
you listen to Drake and Josh, you would know that.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe
Drake
I'll
and
go
Josh,
back and watch
Jesus.
that. You know.
That was like way past his time. That was
We
the
that's what
year.
we started with. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
mad that I missed
yeah, we
it.
started with that. Yeah, because that was after my time.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
You
That's
know.
me and Tom's time. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because you guys
100%.
are around the same. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know how many times I got made fun of for the Jonas Brothers tonight? And I'm like, listen, y'all don't understand.
Uh-uh.
That's my time.
So going back
Yeah,
to Pluto, did you know that 1 year on Pluto is actually 248 Earth years?
Jesus.
that's crazy.
That
Isn't
is nuts.
isn't Pluto technically not a planet, but is a planet? It
In
just became a planet
2006,
again.
no, it never became a planet again. Technically, it's still a dwarf planet.
Yeah, it's a dwarf planet. They changed their status to give it a dwarf planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a planet.
2006, it was demoted. Yeah.
Technically, it's
Huh.
not. Technically, there's only 8 planets in our solar system.
Yep.
Um, Reason being, if you really want to get super technical about it,
Let's do it.
if you had to delegate Pluto to something, it would really just be kind of like a glorified moon, Neptune.
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at it. That's how a
Yeah,
lot
because
of
they're
like
right next to each other.
they're next to each other, and they somewhere on their orbit they do cross paths, which is very very odd. Usually, planets aren't gonna really do that.
That's true too. Yeah.
What
So there's a theory that people are convinced that Pluto kind of orbits itself around Neptune. It's just they're so far away that you don't see that.
I mean,
It
that's
looks
totally
like they're doing their
possible.
own thing.
Yeah, and that's right. That's right on a what do they call that? Something with an N as well. Nebulous or nebulous. The
nebula?
Nebulous.
is that like the outer of our our universe or whatever galaxy? Is that the outer of our galaxy? All that debris that's out there is that called the nebulous or nebula?
Oh, I just read about
Um,
this yesterday too.
Because I know that's where they said Pluto. Pluto's like hanging out on the line there.
I don't know if that's the right term because
I
nebulous is
forget.
kind of just so like if you look at the Milky Way galaxy, right? The
Yeah.
nebula is like those bright like patches that you see. They look like bright clouds.
Okay.
That's a nebula.
Okay.
Oh,
So
but
maybe it's different. All
I'm
right.
trying to think of the. I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the like
I
term.
forget the name of it because I like I said I dove deep today and I was like finding different things and some of the words I was like I can't even pronounce that like
I'm so close
Yeah,
to getting up to grab this
you
book.
know.
It literally, as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh my god, I just read that too.
grab the
Oh, it's
book.
in her book.
All right, hold on.
Go grab the book.
Hold
This is my show. Who cares?
Yeah, we're just chilling.
But yeah. So we did you know that the moon is actually technically lemon shaped?
I did not know that.
I did not know that. Apparently, that's a new discovery for the past couple of years, but they said that the moon has actually become lemon shaped. It's not a perfect circle.
That's see now you're teaching me things. It's making me like what? Like
Yep.
what?
And did you know that the Milky Way apparently it smells like rum and raspberries?
Is that true?
That's what they say. I don't know how you could capture a smell, but I mean, apparently they say that the Milky Way smells like rum and raspberries.
If that's the case, I'm proud of our galaxy then.
Raspberry
We're
flavored rum.
smelling good. That's like
Yeah.
you can mix those and make a cologne out of
Yeah. And then
that.
call it some sort of space name or something.
Yeah, like cosmic something. I
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
it sound exotic.
Yeah. So and then I have here's the fun facts here. Let's go over this stuff.
Yeah, let's go over
You
one.
got that you could actually survive a couple of minutes in a leaky astronaut suit. It's not like the movie Total Recall where you'll just totally
Yeah.
die. It's apparently you can survive a couple of minutes while it's leaking.
I will say it's probably still a horrible death.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Talk about it's probably one quiet death too because apparently outer space is completely silent.
yeah.
Like there's absolutely no sound in space, which I guess I've never actually experienced no sound in my life. I know there's these deprivation tanks that you could go into, but I've never experienced complete silence, like ever. To the point where I don't hear anything.
I feel like all you have to do is go on a cruise and go out on the deck at night.
You're gonna hear the ocean.
Yeah, you'll
You're gonna hear
hear
the
Oh,
wind.
maybe
wind and
You're gonna hear
ocean.
birds.
I'm talking about visuals. Never mind.
See nothing is different. Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, you could just close your eyes with a blindfold and see nothing. But like not hearing anything is tough. So what is this thing called?
Okay. So this book is called Where Are the Constellations? So
Okay.
this is literally like A to Z, all about constellations as well as where the stars are, what forms them, blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah, I learned about the real name
This
of the Big Dipper and Little Dipper too today.
What is that?
I already forget it.
this is a children's book?
Yeah.
It's a freaking children's book. We bought this for her.
That's pretty in depth.
Is it LBI?
Yes. Yeah, we bought her an LBI. So Lily has always had a thing about space and the stars.
She's our
and
little astronaut.
That's what she wants to be. She
That's
wants to be
awesome.
an astronaut. Totally tell her that she has to be really good at math to be an astronaut.
And
she's
she is.
freaking ace in
She's
it,
ace in
so,
math.
But in this one sentence that I found, clouds in space formed by gravity are called nebulas.
Nebulas. Okay.
So clouds in space.
So so Tom was right on point with that.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out what the name of that, because right outside our galaxy, I guess it's a bunch of debris that's sitting there as well.
Hold on, there's more. It says sometimes nebulas are called star nurseries. There's more sentences. A nebula begins
But wait.
to there's
Yeah.
more. A nebula begins to heat up as it revolves.
Okay.
Okay. This is baby star or protostar. Okay. There's more though. I remember Lily tripped up on nebula like 12 times.
I mean, that's a tough word for a kid that's
Fair.
learning.
She
Yeah.
had some other big word in this book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it talks about a black dwarf, a white dwarf. So that's the life cycle of a star as well, by the way. So
Mhm.
you guys said Pluto is a dwarf planet. This talks about the life cycle of a star. So it goes from low or medium mass star to a red giant, which is what we see, and then a white dwarf, which is actually more probably what we see is the white dwarf. And then it goes into a black dwarf where it is not seen anymore.
Kaputs. So, did you know that there's such thing as white holes, supposedly?
What's a white hole?
It's the complete opposite of a black hole. It spits matter out, spits light and matter out instead of inhaling it.
I can't wait to do more research on that.
That's
I
gonna
know,
that's
I'm
gonna
like,
be
what?
cool.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for you to tell me more.
How old is our solar system? Do you know approximately?
Oh, that's a good question. I have no clue.
4.57 billion years old.
I was gonna go biblical.
You know what's crazy?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say 4 billion years old.
Pretty damn close.
But just so you know, the little Big Dipper names, it's Ursa. Ursa Minor.
Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, which in Latin actually means big bear and little bear, which I thought was pretty cute.
You know, it's funny when I opened that book that was exactly where you guys were.
Oh, really?
Her reading, so
Oh,
that
okay.
tracks really well.
Okay, well then that makes sense because I just read with her not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I thought
Everyone's
that's
got to
pretty
get a
cool because
copy of this book.
I
yeah,
know.
here, let's show it on the camera.
I know. That's what I'm
Here we
saying.
go.
This is
It's a little bit of plug.
this
There you
is
go.
Where Are the Constellations? It's a New York Times bestseller series, so we're gonna have to find more of these.
Yeah,
And it's by Stephanie Sabol. So Sabol.
it's pretty
Shout out
cool.
to Stephanie.
Yeah,
Yes,
shout
good
out to
job,
Steph. She
Stephanie.
did a great
Yeah.
job.
But I never knew that the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper were called those names, Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, and that it actually meant Little Bear and Big Bear. That's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
a bear is one of my favorite animals, even though I do like my owls, but a bear is like right up there with that. So
I feel like you
I will
inherited
say
your
like
love.
what's that?
99.
You inherited your love. I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I was gonna say like 99% of all words in space are either Latin or Greek derived.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Which is wild because when it comes to the Greeks and how they tracked everything, I mean,
It is wild. They
To-
based almost their whole culture on.
on the stars.
Yeah.
And they turned that explanation into like gods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Which
Well, they're
is
arguably the first experts of astronomy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was just telling Tom before, what he didn't realize too is Mars is actually the name of the Roman god of war.
yes.
I didn't
One
know
of
that.
many names.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
We're gonna have to do an episode on Greek mythology.
And the Earth is actually God.
yes.
I didn't know that either. That was something I learned today too.
That I knew. That I did.
I didn't know that.
Well,
Like
actually-
Neptune. Neptune's another one.
Yeah,
Wait,
Neptune. Yeah,
Isn't Earth Gaia? Not God?
it said God when I was looking it up.
I thought it was Gaia. And Gaia
Means God.
essentially it's kind of like the way that the Greeks did it were more like a female god.
Okay.
You know, Gaia is the earth. The earth is everything. Gaia created everything. That's the way that it's revered to Greeks, I believe.
Okay.
I have a Greek book somewhere that explains it.
Oh, Greek mythology. That's
Yeah,
another topic.
That's why I said we're gonna have to do an episode. I'm actually
Oh, we could do a bunch. We could do whatever the hell we
I
want.
think I know exactly where that book is. But yeah, Gaia. I think we'd have to research it, but for Greeks, I thought it was Gaia. I could be wrong.
All right. I mean, we could always go back and check it.
Yeah, 100%.
So as a fellow Greek,
Yeah.
I know we're talking about you're sitting
Papadopoulos.
here.
yeah, as a fellow Greek, you're pretty much spot on. But John's also kind of correct because the maker of everything is kind of like what we see as God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess everyone's correct in this
Yeah.
in this argument.
Yeah, well, because Greeks had many different subcategories of their religion, race, whatever way you want to consider Greek mythology to Greeks. But yeah, back to it. I mean, they revered the stars. The stars led the way, just like they do for many.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the craziest part about our different cultures is how the stars all kind of mean the same thing in each culture, per se. They're
A lot of it does
guiding.
point to the same thing,
Yeah.
you know? Like we could get on that topic eventually, but yeah, it does point to the same thing.
I mean, without going too far, I just think like each one utilized the stars to help them travel, guide their ways towards
yeah.
things.
Time.
Navigation for sure.
Yeah, time.
Time, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, space is everything. It's really
It is.
important. It's just nobody realizes how important it is. Speaking of the stars, did you know that there is 10 times the amount of stars than there are grains of sand on Earth?
I could believe it.
I didn't know that
That's
either.
a wild
I
statistic.
found that out today, and I'm like, holy shit! Like that's because like that's unimaginable. Like you can't even count the grains of sand. How would we know this fact? But
I mean,
you know, like how do they
fair.
even know this? Like, are they just making stuff at this point? But like,
I mean, kind of.
I'm inclined to believe it.
I
So
am,
That's why
I
I'm
am
like, I
because
believe
like
it.
you look up in the sky on a really clear night, you can't count those fucking stars. Like, there's no way.
Well, I mean, outer
And-
space is so explored. Outer space is more explored than our oceans.
That I did bring that up before, but
Oh, I'm
even
sorry.
then, like outer space, I wouldn't say outer space in general. Our galaxy, maybe, but when you think about space in general, there's so much out there that we don't know.
I mean, fair.
You know, like
yeah,
Well, maybe we know more about outer space than we do. Did I say that? Am I saying it the right way?
Yeah, I think you did.
I think
Yeah.
they're saying it the
Well,
same
we
way.
do. We know more about outer space and our galaxy right now than we do our own oceans, which is sort of creepy. You know.
Mm.
It's creepy. I think I disagree with that. I really think like recently we've been exploring our oceans a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, fair, but I just don't think we
I mean,
found.
the ocean is massive. We still don't like. We know the deepest point of the ocean that we know of, but we don't know if there's anything deeper than that.
I
You
What
think
I
guys,
find
we're.
interesting, what interesting is the amount of stuff that we see, like artifacts wise and pyramids and stuff like that, that's under the ocean. But that's another whole topic. Like
Well,
I
if
was
we're
just
talking
gonna
about
say I have like
pyramids,
a crazy conspiracy theory of that. I think we know a lot about the ocean,
yeah,
mhm,
but there's certain things that we're being like hidden from.
absolutely,
absolutely,
100% agree with you on that.
we're
That's
we're.
what I think.
I think we as humans are being told on a as needed
Yeah,
basis.
I don't think we know even a small percentage of our history as the human race. Like there's so much more that we don't know that has been kept from us.
I mean, aliens
Yeah.
Yeah,
done.
yeah, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that ugh, we're going on to aliens, but like
We're gonna have an alien episode.
we
I know,
definitely
and
have to have an
that's
alien
why I only
episode.
said that.
Like, all right, yeah, I can't. No, no, I'm gonna stop right there. All
Yeah,
right,
that's why I just said aliens done. That explains it.
sorry, audience, the ADD. But all right, so here's another fun fact. Actually, our days are getting longer here on Earth because it says that Earth's spinning speed is slowing down every year, and it's very minuscule. But every century, it's slowing down 1/500th of a second.
I thought it was speeding up.
That's what I thought, but it's slowing down.
Huh.
And you said every century?
Every century, it's 1/500th of a second. So like it's we can't even measure that in our lifetime or I don't even know how to describe like it'd be millions of years from now where it would be like a second, like a whole second. Think about it, 1/500th.
Dude,
You know
I
what I'm
don't even
saying? Like
know like who is able to come up with that.
I don't know, some crazy mathematician. I'm assuming because there's no way.
Like, that
Like
guy deserves a gold star because that's incredible.
yeah, like again that's like the people who think of science fiction movies. Like they come up like out of their brain out of nowhere. It's like it's impressive. Like the fact that you could actually calculate how slow the Earth is slowing down. Like it's how do you? I don't even know how you would come up with that. Like
I,
That's
I mean,
wild.
yeah,
it is.
yeah, definitely.
So I already said the moon is getting farther away, causing our planet to slightly be egg shaped. So, but that measurement is actually 3.8 centimeters. So it's not a point of a centimeter. It's actually 3.8 centimeters a year.
Wait, actually, to
Hmm.
to talk about the moon, did I don't I don't know if I missed this subject.
We actually didn't get on the moon, like specifically
Okay,
itself.
so
Yeah,
did
no.
anybody see the deal on Saturday with
What do you
the
mean?
moon?
No.
Wasn't there some sort of like eclipse or something?
Oh, there's an eclipse. Yeah. And that's
Oh,
it's funny because I was able to not I guess Tennessee in the United States was like the perfect area to see the eclipse,
Hmm.
but
okay.
I live one state over from Tennessee. So
Yeah.
I was able to see some of it. I didn't, but I was able to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I
I
could.
heard there was a guy who posted a video,
Hmm.
and this is a little bit of conspiracy, but someone took a slow-mo video of the eclipse, and apparently while the moon is supposed to be in front of the sun, apparently it looked like light going through the moon somehow, like almost as like a square, perfect square shape opened up, like almost like a window, and then closed.
Huh.
They're like, if that was a solar flare, how the hell did it go through the moon? Like that's impossible. But it was on video, and you know how an eclipse is supposed to look. It's supposed to be a black circle in front of the sun. Apparently, there
Yeah.
was a little light that came through the black circle, and they're like, how is that possible?
That's
I'd
wild.
have to see
It is
it.
wild. I
I
gotta
think I
find
need
that
to see
video,
it.
but it was wild.
I need to see it, and I need to like Sherlock Holmes it.
Analyze it, yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
there
I
could
need to
be
do.
some like scientific explanation for it that we have no idea about, but
100%.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there also could just be a dome over our country, like or our
Didn't we
world.
see that
Like,
the other night?
yeah, yeah. I was joking around. I was like, man, look at that. It's like just imagine we're in a big dome right now.
No, we were looking at the clouds, and I was like, "Oh wow, they look really pretty." And you were like, "Yeah, it's just the dome."
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, "Oh okay."
yeah. Just messing around. I don't truly believe that. I mean, that would be another hard one for me to believe. Like we're just a flat Earth with a dome. The flat earthers I'll never understand.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
I don't get it.
I
Yeah.
respect them for their own opinions, but like honestly, like I just I can't believe in that. Like
Well,
everything is round. Like
well,
everything is
hold on,
round.
hold on. We go back to the conspiracy theory. So like every, and this is something I was told by somebody. I haven't done the research. Every picture that we see of our planet, other planets, um, space, it's not real.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. I mentioned that before. It's like some people actually believe that outer space is not real,
I
and
mean,
I
it's not.
mean,
It's not that it's not real. It's just what we think of it isn't what really is out there. But then that goes back to we don't truly know everything, and we're on an as needed basis.
absolutely. Like I
So
Yeah.
truly believe Earth itself. I truly believe that Earth itself is a lot bigger than what they are telling us.
are you going into the ice wall?
Yeah, I mean, I could get into the ice wall, but I believe the ice wall could be. It's definitely a possibility that that could
Hold
exist.
on a second. We got to backtrack. The ice wall. Are you talking about Antarctica?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
talking about.
cool.
I'm talking about
Um,
Earth being bigger than it really is,
Yeah. So
and
basically, like all of the United States and all the other continents that we are aware of,
yeah.
are surrounded by this ice wall, which is Antarctica,
which is really
whatever.
only like if I had to put it like it's only like for the audience to know. I'm holding my hands up with a circle, but it's literally supposedly our world, our globe that you see it as today is just a little circle of a bigger Earth.
Hmm.
And outside of the ice wall, where Antarctica supposedly is in the North Pole, it
Mhm.
would be an ice wall. But outside that ice wall is other continents that have been kept secret this whole time.
Oh, that's like some Game of Thrones type shit.
It's essentially it sort of is because supposedly one of those that's where Asgard came from. Like the name Asgard, that supposedly came from one of the continents that are outside of the ice wall. And this is all
Huh.
theory, obviously. I just think I think it could be possible. Do I 100% believe in it? No, but I think it very well could be possible.
Isn't Asgard North, whatever
Yes.
mythology?
Yes.
So isn't Asgard supposed to replicate like heaven?
No.
I thought it was.
No.
I'd have to do research on that one
Yeah.
because I don't know much about North mythology
I
But
have no
except
it's
a little bit
idea.
of God of War. That's all I got.
yeah.
Very
It's just
little.
pretty wild, but like I think that's totally possible. Just
That'd
the
be
fact that
crazy.
our map of our own Earth, like yes, I'll agree with you before when you said we know a lot about Earth. You know, as a species, we know everything about Earth. You know, saying for the most part, but I do believe like I think the measurements might be a little off too because like when you look at a real world map, I forget which what model it was. There was another guy who actually mapped it out exactly how the shape of every continent is. And when you look at a regular map, like the shape of the continents aren't really what they look like.
Yeah.
Like Italy is actually bigger than what it they depicted on maps. Um our United States is a lot bigger than what they depict on maps. It's sort of wild, you know, to think that. It's like why would they try to make it look smaller or bigger in certain
I don't
areas?
think I track what you're saying.
Like the map that you learned in school
Hmm.
of the world, right?
Hmm.
The continents and countries, you're looking at them, and you're like, okay, so China is this big, Russia's this big, US is this big, but apparently all those sizes are pretty fucked up. Like it's not even the correct or accurate size. Like
That is true.
it's pretty wild, you know.
I
And
just don't
there was a
understand.
guy who I guess I forget his name.
I
I
mean,
wish
of
I
course, it's
remembered it,
not accurate. I mean,
but it's pretty wild because like you would think with today's technology it would be accurate, but they're still pushing the same map from when we were in school.
yeah,
It's like it's not true at all.
Here,
again,
I got an
as
example.
needed
Yeah.
basis.
It's
We
like,
don't need to know how big it is unless we need to
Yeah.
know, type of thing.
yeah, it's like, so if you look at the United States on just that third grade wall map,
Yep, yeah,
right?
exactly what
I
I
You
was
know
know
what I'm
the
talking
picturing.
about?
kindergarten map.
And then
Mhm.
they have Alaska kind of off to the side, but it's like relatively
I do.
small. It looks like kind of like Texas 2.0, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Alaska is really like half the size of the Western United States.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
that tracks. But I mean, I just never, my opinion or the way that I viewed it, I just never thought it was accurate anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, but like when you're a kid, you don't think like that. So, but there had to have been a point in your life when you were growing up where you're like, nah, that's bullshit.
I think it was my freshman year
There
of
you
high
go.
school.
See,
There you
I
like
go.
there's
The
remember
aha
there's a
my social
moment.
point.
studies
Yep.
teacher.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
point somewhere.
yeah, my social studies teacher in the old section of Arlington.
Hmm.
Tom, you
Yeah, me
know.
and Vicky went to the same high school.
Yeah, that's why I went. Tom,
Oh,
you
that's
know.
right. Yeah, yeah. You guys had a
Yeah.
huge ass high school,
Yeah.
but
By the way, I went into LMS the other day. Culture
Really?
shock. Yeah,
uh,
culture shock.
Wow.
They
Is
changed the lockers
what color are they?
maroon, and
What
they're
color?
big.
They
They
weren't
were
maroon when we were there?
no, they were like gray. They were
Oh,
like a
you're
tan
right.
gray.
Yeah, tan. Oh, yeah. They were ugly.
Oh yeah, they're maroon now and they're big. But anyway, I
upgraded,
digress.
upgraded.
I can't wait to see what the high school lockers look like now because those were tiny.
Yeah, they were like you could
Very
barely
tiny.
fit like 3 textbooks into the locker.
Like a
Yeah.
little sliver.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
this big.
That was like our lockers in Ketchum. They were small, and
Yeah.
you were lucky if you got one of the big ones because the big ones were on the end.
Yeah. I don't think there was ever a big one.
Oh yeah, no, like if I'm not mistaken, I remember it was one big locker. It was like double size, and then it was a bunch of the smaller lockers, and on the other end it was double size. I'm like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
I think when I went to Unionvale, that's when things changed, and you were lucky if you got the bottom locker and you were short, and if you got a top locker and you were short, you had to figure things out.
I barely used my locker to be
Me
honest.
too.
I just
Nobody did.
fucking had my backpack, and that's all I needed.
I just
Everybody had
decided
that.
not to bring what I was supposed to bring to school.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So back to space.
Sorry.
Yeah, but we just went down the rabbit hole. Sorry,
Yes,
guys.
we did. No, it's
Sorry.
all good. Um, this was a fact I didn't know that I still have a hard time believing, but the sun rotates once every 25 to 35 days. I thought
Yeah,
the sun sort of just stayed where it was at. I didn't know that the sun rotates.
really.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had no clue that the sun rotated. Like I thought it was the center of everything. Like we're all revolving around the sun. So why would it have to move? Like I had no clue why it would rotate.
That's. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I guess I was always taught. I don't remember who like instilled this, but every single thing in our solar system rotates. Everything.
That's pretty wild.
I feel
Yeah.
like I knew that, but I have too. John didn't ever think about the sun rotating.
Yeah, I never
Even
like
the
I
moon
thought it was.
does too, but we just
Yeah.
don't see the other side of the moon because it rotates with Earth.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, because we never see the dark side of the moon.
We only see one side of the moon.
That's it.
How do wait? What? What?
You didn't know that?
No, I've heard it before, but in the reality, is it if it's rotating at a different speed than what we are, we should be seeing all sides of the moon as we're seeing the different phases. That shouldn't change.
Well, you got to remember too. Even if it's not exactly the same, if it's like a second off or something like that,
Mhm.
we're still not going to see it in our lifetime. Probably like a quarter rotation.
yeah,
Like there's
maybe.
no way.
But it's a spear ish lemon, whatever you want to call it, rotating
Lemon.
as we're rotating. So that means we are seeing that quote unquote dark side.
No,
'Cause
so
eventually it's becoming the light side, right?
the moon doesn't. If it wasn't for Earth, like the moon rotates along with Earth.
At the same
If that
speed.
makes sense. Yeah, it's the same because it's a gravitational pull. It's the same exact thing. So
Okay,
like
so like
if the moon was out by itself, it would be spinning on whatever speed it would spin at. But since we lock the moon in, now the moon spins with us. So we only see one side of the moon.
oh,
Which planet is it that spins on its side?
Well, Uranus goes vertical.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
At least it's almost vertical.
Yeah, they said that they think it was caused by getting hit by something millions of years ago or something like that. It knocked it off, and now it spins
oh
like
my
this.
god, that was in the book.
Yeah, because instead of
It's
spinning
the
like
book.
this, instead
the
of spinning
book.
like this, like on its top or bottom, it
Yes.
spins like this. It's the only
I thought
special
it-
one that we have.
I thought that was about Saturn because Saturn.
No,
was-
Saturn's
Saturn.
on like a tilt.
Yeah,
Yep.
You could see the tilt, but then if you look up a picture of Uranus, it's like
it's really
literally almost up and down.
Yeah,
So I think what I read in the book was about Saturn and about how it's on a tilt, and it's
Yeah.
they believe that it's because something hit it. So I mean,
yes,
that could be said about any planet that's not.
yeah. And
doing what
Venus,
we originally
Venus,
thought.
I
pretty
think
much.
Venus is the one that goes opposite of everybody else, right? Clockwise or counterclockwise or something like that.
Yeah, so I believe we all go counterclockwise, except for Venus.
Yeah, which is just strange. Like, why
I
does that
believe
happen?
so. Don't quote me on that,
It's got
but
to get with the program here. Why
Guys,
is it?
quote Tom now.
I
Run
Yes,
it.
yes.
no,
Quote him.
Write this
don't
in.
quote me. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No. No, no, no.
But yeah, no. I mean, I want that book.
Oh yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna have to
that's
order
a
it
cool
for you.
little book, man. Where did we got that at the bookstore that was in that little shopping
Yeah,
place in the ship, right? Was it
yeah.
the ship or
No, it wasn't the ship. The ship was
what
like
is that
this
shopping center in
antique.
LBI called? Fuck.
Oh, I
I
I
forget.
got nothing. But it's like this little bookstore that's been there like forever. Actually, remember the book you bought? The
The what?
comic book? John, well before Trump ran for anything, there
Oh
was a
yeah.
Trump
It was a
comic
Trump
book.
coloring book.
Yeah,
Really?
coloring book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was before he was elected, which was weird because the pictures in the book depicted what he was doing as a president before he got elected. I'm like, what the fuck?
Do we
It's
still
like
have that, or did you
it's like
give
No,
it
some
to him?
I
Simpsons
gifted it
shit.
to Stuart because
That
I
was a
knew
good
he would
gift.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that took me a little bit to let go, but I was like, you know what? I know he'll appreciate it, and it's a good gift. It's a
Yeah.
good because I had it sealed in a bag in my safe the whole time. It's still pristine because I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be worth something one day, but
Yeah,
Moral of
that's
this,
pretty cool.
it's this little bookstore that's been around for ages. And you can like really find some cool diamonds in the rough there. Hence this book as
the
well
little
as
astronomy
yeah,
jammy.
but as well as like this series also gives other books. So like Lily picked one that said what
Oh,
is
about
it?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like who is
Yeah,
Jesus or
who is
something.
Jesus?
It's the
And she read the whole
Hmm.
same.
thing.
Yeah, it's the same style. I don't know about the author. I'd have to look, but I'm not going. Same style, pretty educational, and from what I feel is pretty accurate.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was dope.
yeah. They're good books. I mean, she loves space. We all love space. So
Hmm. By
so
by the way, though, to talk about space and the stars, like I don't know how to say this without spiraling into another subject, but it is about the stars. Um, we have been told that Jesus' birthday was on Christmas, but I guess scientists have tracked back the stars back to his time, and they're saying that that's not valid based off of the tracking of the stars,
yeah,
which I
they
think
say
is
that his
wild,
Dang.
his original birthday is more towards
like Easter.
Easter.
Really?
But again, because we're
Yeah.
talking about stars in the
There's
future.
also a theory about how many months are really in a true year,
Hmm.
and supposedly, who was it? It was because October was originally the eighth month, November was the ninth month, and December was the 10th month. And there was only 10 months. I guess January and February were added.
Yeah, something like that. I've heard that.
Wow.
It's pretty wild because if you think about it and you relate the language, like October, Oct is 8.
8.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And November is Nov. That's November. That's the ninth.
And
And
Deca is 10.
yep. So it's pretty wild when you do that. You're like, okay, maybe there was, but supposedly the Romans, I think, added that
Hmm.
the January, February to the calendar.
Is that why they tried to change the astrological signs? And
Yeah,
they
I
said
think
that,
so.
like, oh, you're not like for me, I'm an Aries. So they were like, you're not really an Aries. You're actually like whatever, an Aquarius. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Psh,
but
Aries
that's
yeah,
gang.
I
why.
am.
I'm an Aries too.
But
Yes.
going back to
Go
Jesus's
ahead. You go
birthday,
at that.
supposedly with Jesus's birthday being in April, April was supposedly the first month of the year.
Yes, I did hear that.
So it's there's so many theories to go off of too.
I mean, I'm down to say that April is the first and the best month ever, right, Tom?
Of course you would.
I agree, but I'm also like I don't know what to think right now. Is
Yeah,
Listen,
no,
I
it's
stuck with
wild.
it.
We could
I'm an
go
Aries.
off and on a bunch of different things, but like, did you know that it takes light approximately 10 minutes to travel from the sun to the Earth's surface?
I did know that.
Well, yeah,
That
I
I
mean
did.
that tracks with the light years, with what you guys were saying before, right?
That would be light minutes, I think, right? Technically.
Yeah, it just takes light time to travel.
Yeah.
It's like sound. It takes sound time. That's why you could see like those fighter jets breaking the sound barrier.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see too. Like, I'm intrigued by airplanes too. Like you should see me. It's bad. Like if a plane's flying too low, I'm running outside the house. I'm like, looking up.
Have
I'm
a
They're
scuffle.
doing the Blue Angels Naval Air Show like 2 hours away from my house tomorrow,
oh, that's
Oh
and
man, that's
sick.
cool.
I kind of want to go see it.
You should. You
And
should.
is anything stopping you from going to see it?
Absolutely not.
So go.
So I
Do
might
it.
drag Alicia and go.
Do it.
I'm sure she'll love
She'll
it.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Go out to
How
lunch.
can
Have a
you
good time.
not?
No, you can't. You
Exactly.
can't not enjoy stuff like that. It's fascinating. The fact that people can fly stuff like that too.
Yeah,
But but here's a fun fact about Earth. Did you know that at any given moment there's at least 2,000 thunderstorms active on our planet?
Is it on
really.
our planet, like in the ocean?
Like yeah, it's all over our planet.
Hmm.
At any given moment there's approximately 2,000 thunderstorms. So it could be in the middle of the ocean, the majority of them, and we don't know, or anywhere all over the earth.
That sounds really
That's
cool.
wild.
That is pretty wild, right? And that's
That's
another
really
thing I
cool.
love. I love thunderstorms, man. To sit out there.
I'll put me
You know what I'm
See,
on.
saying?
I'm also a big weather. Like I like to study the weather patterns.
We need to put another episode on that one because
Yeah.
I've got theories.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All
Here,
right.
Got
so
them
you know
like
what? I
crazy.
think we've in this podcast, John. I feel like you have like
I'm gonna go
numerous
back.
ideas now.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
We
back.
got.
I've already counted 4 of them so far. So like it's wild,
Lots of
But
ideas.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And you know what was another thing that put things into perspective as well is here, like with Earth, we have sea level and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Outer space is approximately 62 miles from sea level. That does not seem like that far away.
62
62
miles
miles.
from
I
sea
know
level.
62 miles up is a lot farther away than 62 miles that way. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But to think that it's only 62 miles that way before you hit outer space.
I mean, that is wild to
It
put it in
You would
such
think it would
a
be far.
realistic distance for
Yeah.
that's
us.
Yeah,
awesome.
because like we're saying light years, we're saying light minutes, but
Mhm.
like when you measure by miles, it's approximately 62 miles from sea level. So, and that's from sea level. So now if you go to Mount Everest, at the top of Mount Everest,
So what are we, 10 miles
yeah,
away? No,
well,
I'm
I don't
kidding.
know, probably a little bit more than that, but still, I mean, it's
You'll
it's
be
pretty
there in an
wild.
hour.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. Like,
So what you mean to tell me is I just need an oxygen mask and some jump game, and I got this.
yeah,
Yeah, just
like,
jump super high from Mount
or
Everest and
maybe
you'll
some
probably get
nice
there.
retro
I
moon
got
shoes.
this. Oh my gosh. Didn't we just see a commercial about
Yeah,
that?
well, we watched that video the other night. It's like like things from the '90s,
Yeah.
the
Oh
moon
my.
shoes.
The
Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite boots that he wore.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
I just saw a meme about Napoleon earlier.
that was a good movie.
Oh, that was a fantastic movie. It
Yeah,
had no business
Yeah.
being as good as it was.
No.
exactly.
Tina, come get your food. Was it
Yeah,
food or lunch? I don't remember now.
I don't know.
Get some
Let's see.
dinner.
Some of
Dinner.
your tots.
Yeah. La Fonda. Is it La Fonda?
Yeah, LaFonda.
Yeah,
La
yeah,
Fonda. Yeah.
And
that's
Kip.
funny. So, did you know? I've heard about this too. In 2016, scientists actually detected a radio signal from a source that was 5 billion light years away. And I don't even know how you would measure that. Like, it's just insane to measure that. But that means that the radio signal, when it started, Earth didn't even exist.
Ooh, that's fair.
Isn't that weird?
That's
That
really
they
fair.
discovered a radio signal in 2016 that came from 5 billion light years away, and the Earth is only 4 point something billion years old. So that radio signal started and was sent out before we even existed.
Yeah.
What did the radio signal say?
It's a radio signal. It could be a certain sound. It was just a frequency.
Yeah,
But
it's
what's
probably
weird
like a
is like,
faint.
why? How? Like
Did we?
it makes you feel so insignificant.
Did you guys touch on the movie Interstellar?
We did a tiny bit. That was
Okay.
such a good
Yeah, a
movie,
little.
It
though.
really was. So I was just thinking about that, like in relation to the radio signal and
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's basically essentially the same thing, same concept. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah. Oh, did you guys talk about the space station?
What,
No.
the International Space Station?
Yeah.
No, we never really touched on that, which is wild because that's also the largest spacecraft ever put into outer space.
Yeah, and it like inhabits people there.
Yeah, yeah. There's people that live there,
and
which
that's
is
where they
sort of
study
weird,
space and
and they get
um
taller.
what?
Yeah, you get
Yes.
taller when you're in space.
Shut up.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
you do.
taller in space because there's no compression of your spine.
As you say that, as I
Yeah,
stretch,
there's
I'm
no
like,
compression of your spine, so you
let
you
me
actually
stand up.
gain height. The only thing is, once you enter our atmosphere back in Earth, that yeah, height is gone.
Oh yeah, I think about the astronauts that like come back to Earth and they're like standing in front of podiums and they're like,
Oh yeah, they need
jello
some
because they,
serious physical
Yeah,
therapy when they get back.
yeah, well, because while
that's
you're up there,
crazy.
you're not
Isn't that
gaining.
wild? We should all save up and take one of those commercial flights.
No,
No,
Oh,
all right.
The Virgin airline flights that
Yeah,
bring you.
or the giant penis that Bezos puts up in space too.
Yeah.
I'd rather go on something Elon Musk makes.
What are the Blue Origin or something like that?
I'd rather go into Elon Musk's
Does he
than
have one?
Bezos. What
I
wasn't
don't think he
he?
has one yet, right?
I'm sure he will.
He
I think
will.
he's working on something that will supersede Bezos.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean
that's why it hasn't come out
his
yet.
concept that I looked up, it actually looks like a jet. So I would probably feel more comfortable in something like that than in some sort of vessel that we're hoping is just all right. It looks
Yeah.
like a rocket, you know.
I'd
Well,
rather be going up in a jet than going down a
Yes,
submarine.
exactly.
uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
facts. Well, what was the? What's in Florida? What space is it? The
Kennedy Space Center, which is
Yeah, Cape
amazing,
Canaveral.
and
yeah.
Cape Canaveral. I went to Kennedy Space Center when I was younger. I want to bring Lily there so bad.
What's Cape Canaveral? Is it the
It's
same
where they
thing?
shoot off the rockets in
It's
the
a launch pad area.
spaceships.
Yeah.
It's a launch pad, yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
You can see it from Billy's house too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember them saying
There's
that
a little
they've
peak that we
seen.
go up to.
Yeah,
You're
I
saying, yeah,
remember they watched Bezos shoot off something. I think it was, or maybe it was
yeah.
Musk. Somebody did it, and they had
They
watched it.
cancel a lot of them, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanna go to the Florida. What you just said it, and now I can't remember.
Kennedy Space Center.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to
it's
go to the
that.
Kennedy
It's
Space
so
Center,
fun. It's so fun.
which I was just in Florida, so it's kind of really funny because I think I was passing it. I was like talking to John, and I was like, "Oh,
It's on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah."
It's
But there
more
was
It
a
central.
is.
sign. There was
Yeah,
a
it is.
sign that was like this way to the Space
Oh
Center
yeah,
of some
yeah.
sort. And I was like reading it while I think I was just leaving the airport or going to the airport, and he was talking about it, and he was like, "We got to do that, and we got to bring the
It would
kids."
be
And I'm like,
amazing
"Oh
to
yeah,
to
definitely do."
just to touch a rock that was on
Yeah.
the moon. Like, it's
They have
amazing.
things like that there,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but don't
yeah.
they have
You
that
could
at?
buy them.
But don't they have that at the what is it? Museum of Natural History?
I would
Uh,
probably. They
they
probably
might
do.
have something like that, but at
Or
the
no, they
Kennedy
probably have it at
Space
the
Center, there's not.
planetarium.
Yeah.
Isn't that in it, or is
Is
it?
that part of the Natural History Museum?
I
No,
wonder
we
if it
went
is.
to Liberty Science Center that has the planetarium.
But like, I feel like
That was fun.
no, the Museum of Natural History I think has its own as well.
I would imagine. I don't want to go to New
It
York City
probably
though. I
is.
would rather pay for flights to Florida than to go to New York City.
I'm sorry, I want to bring
Agreed.
the kids to.
I totally agree with that.
Sorry,
Nah, I want to bring the
sorry.
kids to the
City is not
museum.
what it used to be.
Nah, bring them to the Museum of Natural History. I want to do that.
I'm gonna try not to bring my kids to New York City on purpose.
We're gonna bring them to the Museum of Natural History though. We have to. At least that. We brought them to Jersey.
I'm strapping.
Do you? We brought them to Jersey. We can
Can't
bring them
blame
to the
you.
museum.
Jersey.
Jersey.
I will say Kennedy's cool. I've been there, and I've also been to NASA in Houston,
That's awesome.
and that's
Austin.
also cool.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool.
That'd be sick.
There's a movie about these black women that actually helped us get to the moon.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh fudge! I forget the name of them.
The Incredibles. It was something like along those lines.
The Incredibles.
I love that movie.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
The Marvels. It was something. It was Miss Marvels or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far.
I think
far
you're
I'll
just
have to
thinking
look
about
that
science
up.
fiction.
I've never heard of that. That's actually pretty
gonna
cool.
No, yeah, I remember there was a story about I forget what that was one of the Apollo missions, wasn't it?
Was it the Apollo?
I'm pretty
or
sure it was one of the
Mercury?
Apollo missions. I mean, what there was 13 of them, I think,
Yeah.
or was there more than 13? I think there was
There's-
only 13 of them.
I believe there's 13, but something's telling me a 14. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought the
Okay.
same thing too, but
It's called Hidden Figures, so I'm a moron.
Very,
Okay.
very close.
Hidden Figures.
Was I?
Yeah, you were almost there.
Yeah. So it says 3 brilliant African American women at NASA and they give the names, serve as the brains behind one of the most greatest operations in history, the launch of astronaut uh, John Glenn, sorry,
Oh, John
into
Glenn.
John
orbit.
Glenn. Yeah,
That wasn't that long ago either.
I feel like that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
It says a stunning achievement that restored the nation's confidence, turned around the space race, and galvanized the world.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
I think it was further back than you guys think it is, but
Oh, I mean, well, the moon landing itself, I don't consider that far back.
No,
Especially when you know our history, what we know as our history of human beings, like that's not that far ago. Like,
we were just talking about a 5 billion-year-old radio signal.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
fair,
And
fair.
it was less than 100 years ago. So I mean, like that's still not that long ago. I mean,
Okay.
think about it this way: cars weren't mass produced that long ago. Like vehicles, like
our
it's insane.
phones.
Yeah, our phones. Like, look at our phones. I didn't even have a
Yeah.
cell phone in high school, and when we started high school.
I mean, don't get me started on the phone theory and the moon landing.
Oh God, how are you making these connections? Like,
Well,
I love
because
it.
it's different.
because our president at the time was, who was it?
What year?
Reagan?
Of what?
The moon landing.
No, definitely not
Not Reagan.
Reagan.
Wasn't that
I don't know my
Kennedy?
presidents.
Wasn't it Kennedy?
Was it
It was
Kennedy?
Kennedy. Oh, at least we got a good laugh out of
All
that.
right.
I don't
Whatever.
know. Okay.
I was born when Reagan was president.
Well, okay, whatever. So he called the space, like he called the astronauts and were speaking to them while they were freaking on the moon.
Yeah, he's the fucking president.
We didn't have that technology.
He
We
used a
can't
cell
even
phone.
do. It was a brick.
Well, we had like SATCOM devices like
Yeah,
that we
we
used
had
in World War
satellite
II
communication.
and all the wars.
Mm-hmm.
To make it all the way to the moon.
You know what? I mean,
Via
I'm
that's
just
why
satellite.
it's a theory. That's why it's a theory.
That's
via
true, too.
satellite. Meanwhile,
true,
we
too.
can't even build another rocket ship to get to the moon. Get out of here.
We can.
Get
We
outta
have
here.
rockets that could go to the moon. There's no way. I don't care. I don't believe that.
I mean, we have airplanes that could fly like across the United States in 30, 40 minutes. So
Exactly.
we definitely could. I feel like could go to the moon. I just feel like it's not a priority.
I mean, let's be honest. You're right. It's of no use to us. There's an
No.
asteroid that's floating close to us, closer than it's ever been to us. That is worth like, I think they said it was worth like 100,000 quadrillion dollars just because of the precious metals that are on it.
Yeah, it could make
Which is
everyone a
insane.
billionaire.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, not like that would ever happen. The money grubbing people are just going to hold on to everything. But
Yeah.
I have
But-
the answer to us returning to the moon.
oh, you have the answer?
The answer.
The answer is probably nah. Fuck it.
Nope. Nope. It says following 2 Artemis test missions, Artemis 3, currently planned for 2025, will mark humanity's first return to the lunar surface in more than 50 years. NASA will make history by sending the first humans to explore the region near the lunar South Pole.
Interesting.
Now we'll see how long that gets delayed.
Yeah.
I mean, like it said, this is the third. But like
Yeah.
this is my again going back to how can we not get back there? That makes no sense to me.
I just don't think I think Tom was onto something there. I just don't think it's a priority. I don't think it's a matter of we can't get back there. It's a matter of do we want to spend this money and these resources to do a mission for what? Like
Well, okay, so here actually, so you guys are onto something with saying that because it says, why can't we go to the moon again? And it says the NASA workforce is 1/10 of what it used to be, and funds are limited.
oh, everybody's short staffed. That sounds similar.
Sounds about right.
accurate. Yeah. The last 45 years have been spent building space shuttles and the International Space Station, which is why we don't have the technology to take people back to the moon, which that doesn't make any sense to me. How is that why we don't have the technology? We had it.
Yeah,
Where did it go?
I feel like that was worded poorly.
It definitely was.
100%.
That wasn't NASA as the source, was it? Because that sounds really stupid.
They're not that dumb.
No,
I
they're
mean-
definitely not that dumb.
I mean,
That's literally rocket science right there.
Yeah, you're right.
they're
But
dumb
I will
enough to
say,
say that we don't have the technology to get back to the moon when we had it. Where
Mm,
did it
yeah, it's
go?
I will
weird.
say for the conspiracy theorist, if it sounds too good to be true, usually it's too
Mm-hmm.
good to be true.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
And the more time that passes about the original moon landing, it just kind of seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that whole moon landing seems so weird, dude. Like, and how did you videotape it? Like,
How did
honestly,
we
like
get a
how the
live
fuck,
feed?
like how did we get a live feed from the moon?
None
Like,
of it
come
makes sense.
on.
And not
Straight
only
from
that,
Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly.
and not only that, think about it, right? There was a camera placed on the moon to then have Armstrong come down and be filmed. So that means something was already on the moon first, or we already took step and then kind of pre-filmed it anyway. Not
Mhm.
pre-filmed it, sorry, refilmed. Whatever way you want to put it.
It's still pretty cool though. I like even if it was fake, it's still pretty
I
cool
mean, it was
though.
dope, and at the time,
One
like it
step
made
for man.
it made so many kids and adults just value space in general and
Oh
become
yeah.
more educated in it. Like I don't want to take away from what it really meant to us as a nation and us as human beings that we were able to make it there. What I
Mm.
want is to know, did it really happen?
My question, and I genuinely don't know this, but you, Vicky, you kind of alluded to this before. When people are in space for a long period of time and then they come back, they have like a tough time, I guess, dealing with the gravity at first.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone ever see these astronauts have a tough time reacclimating with gravity, or did they just come out walking normal?
Yeah,
I
that's the
don't
one thing
know.
I noticed because like when they come out of that capsule, like when they show them coming out of the capsule, when they're picking them up by a boat, they don't seem like they're struggling that hard. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
weird.
even
I
know.
mean,
I'm
there's a
gonna
lot.
Google
There's
this.
a lot to uncover here.
there's probably some astronaut out there if they ever caught a hold of this episode, they'd be like, "You fucking idiots!" Like,
These
so
amateur
look at
hours.
these fucking people sitting in their houses podcasting about what I do for a living.
I mean, hey, if they come across this and want to educate us and would like
Absolutely, I will
to,
totally like. I
even
would
if they
lose
don't want
my
to
shit
talk
if
to
I could
us and they
actually
just want
sit
to
here
make a
and
video,
interview. If I could interview a real astronaut, oh
that'd
my
be dope.
god, like
Yeah,
that's
that
a
would be
milestone.
insane.
That'd be amazing.
How do we even Google if the astronauts like? I don't even know.
What do you mean? Google what?
Like, did Armstrong
Like what?
lack the wherewithal to handle gravity? I think that's the
Oh, like
wrong way to put it. If
you
I'm
could just
being
literally
Uh,
type into Google, "Do astronauts
transparent.
have to do physical therapy when they get home?" Like
Yeah, but the Tom's legit question was, did Armstrong have that issue after the moon landing
I don't know.
or when they came back to Earth?
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's
All of those astronauts, like I said earlier in the episode, like all the astronauts that are usually, if they're questioned a tiny bit, they automatically go on this crazy defense. Like they're
yeah.
so offended that you would even question them. It's like it just seems too offended. Like there's a difference between offending somebody. It's like, but do your feelings really matter that much, dude? You're an astronaut. Like if you know it's true, then who gives a shit? Like you
I
don't
agree
have
with
to
that.
believe me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I
I don't
did
know.
something, even in my regular life, like, did you do this? Yeah, I did this. I don't believe it. Okay. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I'm
Cool,
assuming an
dude.
astronaut would be the same way, especially because they've seen it all. Like,
So, by the way, they were interviewed after mandatory quarantine time.
Oh, okay.
So, therefore,
Caveat.
we wouldn't have seen it.
because they got to make sure that there's no like, alien infection.
But if they did it for
Yeah.
Apollo 11, why didn't they
They
do
might
it
have
for
brought something
others?
back.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if they didn't do it for Apollo 11, which was the moon landing one, why did they not do it for the others? And why did we watch these astronauts basically collapse on live TV when we weren't seeing that from the astronauts who went to the moon?
I don't know.
What was the one where the shuttle exploded?
Oh,
13.
yeah, that was
13,
that was
right?
a sad one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Apollo
Yeah.
13. I'm pretty positive. Now I'm gonna Google it
yeah.
just
I'm
to make
pretty
sure.
sure. I'm pretty sure that was 13.
Yeah, I think we
Damn.
we had to watch that movie in school.
What
That
movie?
sucked.
Oh, Apollo. Oh, well, that was if that was the story, then he didn't. The ending of Apollo 13, they didn't blow up, right? The one with was it Tom Hanks and Gary Sinise?
I think so.
Wasn't
Or
there a
wait, no.
spacecraft in like the early or mid 2000s that literally like disintegrated in the atmosphere? Am I wrong
I
about that?
I think
E-
so. I remember something. I remember there's something.
There was something. Oh, oh
Didn't it fail on
no!
the ground?
Hold on. No, I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm full of conspiracy theories, but this is about to
Oh
happen.
God.
So it blew up. It supposedly hit the firmament. Um, there are
Oh, the
people,
dome.
the dome, the firmament, whatever.
Yeah.
There are people from that flight. So, like, let's say there was an astronaut named Sarah. I think I'm pretty positive here. Sarah died, right? There is a professor at a college who looks just like her, specializes in the same thing she did, and she's a teacher. Different name, looks just like her, same
What?
age
Yeah, but
as she would be if she never died.
Mm.
And that
so
is
you're saying it never.
that goes for 5 of the 6 that had passed.
What do you mean five? Like there's doppelgangers out there, 5 of them that look just like the same people that were the crew of the.
And they
That's.
specialize in the same things that these crew members specialized in.
And
I
was this
got
the one
into a
that
whole
blew up in the air?
Yep.
I remember that.
That's a
But
little strange.
I got into a whole conversation about it with one of my employees who
I mean, is it
one of those
possible the witness protection
extremely
program is a
educated
real
person.
thing? So
But
yeah.
why would they? I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? Who knows? There's powers way above us little peons.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
crazy.
hey, here's another fun fact. Did you know that astronauts in their suits have a piece of Velcro in their helmet for if they have to itch their face because they can't touch their face? So they
What?
Wow.
so they scratch their face. They
Wow.
scratch their face with little pieces of Velcro that are inside their helmet. It's mounted inside their helmet, so if they have an itch, they could just move their head to the side.
That's wild. And I did confirm Apollo 13 was the one that blew up because the oxygen tank blew up in the shuttle.
Jesus,
What a horrible way to go.
that is
I mean,
yeah.
do you feel much?
I mean,
No, but it's
yeah.
like
I
you're
mean,
doing something so cool and then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down.
I mean, if it's
Fair.
if it's
Well, that's like the people who went into the submarine to see the Titanic.
That literally went crashing down. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
was
you're doing
nuts
something. You're
because
doing
that
something so
implodes.
cool.
I'm sure there's a conspiracy theory on that. There's a conspiracy theory on the Titanic. I know that.
Oh yeah, how it was really what's the other ship's name?
It was really its sister's ship, the Olympic.
Olympic. That's right.
Yeah, and like not to get too much into conspiracy theories, obviously, but I know there's like certain people that were supposed to be on the Titanic
Yep.
that
Oh
happened to
yeah.
just not
Yep.
go on the Titanic. They
Yep.
were
It
very
was
important
actually
people.
Very big bankers.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
the people who were trying to create the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
And people who were trying to create the Federal Reserve and people who were against the Federal Reserve went onto the Titanic. But the people who were for the Federal Reserve happened to just so happen to not be there and didn't
That's
actually go on the
peculiar.
Titanic.
Yep. Most people
Mm.
don't realize the Federal Reserve is not a government entity; it's a private
Mhm.
company.
Well, but that's a
Uh,
whole other
Yeah, that's
episode here.
another episode too.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
could get into
There
conspiracies.
you go. Mark it down.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's another one.
I think
I gotta write all these down.
I think Titanic in itself should be its own episode.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It deserves that.
I could go
Yeah.
off on conspiracies every week for the next fucking year if we wanted to.
I think
I
we've
just don't
mentioned,
want to
like,
close
5
my
already.
box. I just don't want to close my whole show into conspiracies because I do enjoy talking about everything else. You know.
Yeah, I think our lives in general make us more prone to knowing about the conspiracies because
Absolutely.
it
Well,
just makes us feel
that's everything in life. You
more
have to question.
yeah.
That you have to go. Questioning is literally learning new things. Questioning is it helps you grow. You know, like when you question stuff when you're not sure, that's when you find new things out. You know,
Yeah.
and you put those other theories out there. You're like, oh, well, it could be this way, and it opens up people's eyes. You know, I've always been to one to make people think for themselves. That's what my goal is about pretty much everything. like that I talk about. Like I want people to start questioning stuff. Think of things yourself. Don't just be one of those sheep that follow everything that somebody says. You know that like there's things in our life that are matter of fact. But then there's other things like outer space.
Mm.
You know, there's so much more that we don't know.
Yeah, that's true,
You
man.
know,
I mean, 100%. I would love to. I would love to be an astronaut and actually take a look at the planets
I would
from in
love
space.
to, if there was no danger in it, I would go tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
I would totally take a ship up there with everybody. Like we would all go. Like if it was like a Spirit airline where you could like nickel and dime it. Like,
Yeah. Except you have to do years of training to
yeah.
get used to the zero gravity and handling
I don't
the
know how
calm
much years of
down.
training you're gonna. I mean, if you're an astronaut, yes, but if to take a commercial flight up there, just think about it this way: when we're in our 60s and 70s, it's probably going to be a regular thing.
I
Yeah.
mean, Tom, I'm gonna go to our generation. Xenon, hello.
I was thinking that the whole time. I just didn't want to say it because I feel like John wouldn't have known.
I
I
got
definitely
you.
wouldn't have because I still don't know.
Stop.
it's
Oh
it's Lizzie. It's not Lizzie McGuire.
no.
Xenon Z3, and they live on a space station.
It was some chick in Raven Simone. I can't remember the chick's name.
Is this
Yeah,
another Nickelodeon show?
Disney.
Disney.
Disney. Okay.
It was when they had the Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually just got tagged to something on it too. That's why it.
Man, you guys are showing me my age on my own podcast.
And that's our bad. That's our
I
bad.
know.
That's all
I'm
right. That's all
sorry.
right.
It's relevant though.
Oh,
It
I don't
really
care.
is.
I embrace whatever I have. I'm not old, so
I'll make him watch it.
you're only as old as you
Yeah.
feel.
But I'll make him watch it with Lily so that it doesn't make him feel so old.
Nah,
That's
whatever.
like a double whammy because I feel like Lily should watch that as well.
Oh, she will. I'll make sure.
Oh, Lily will probably love any of those shows, but
Well, yeah. Well, because the whole concept of Xenon is like they live on the space station.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like super futuristic when it came out,
Okay.
but now it's just kind of like actual life for people.
Uh, yeah, like they have cell phones and stuff back in the day.
Kind of. I mean,
Like
just
talking into their watches,
yeah,
like 007, which
yeah.
we actually do nowadays.
My Apple Watch.
Yeah, well,
Mine's
I'm not
charging.
wearing mine. So.
Mine's charging because it was dying. But
But
yeah,
all right, I guess we'll wrap it up for now because we could keep talking and talking and talking,
day.
and we're definitely gonna have Tom back for a lot of other topics too. So
Tom, you got to come back for the alien conversation.
Yeah, I'm down whenever I'm summoned. I'm
I'm
down.
off all next week.
Summoned.
Okay.
John has a really good what was it, theory on aliens.
Oh,
that
I
he
have a
told me last
whole
night, so
entire I have a whole entire 3 pages that I wrote. I think it was 3 pages, no, 2 pages on aliens and ancient civilizations because I would definitely want to lump them in there because of
I
the
am
big
so happy you said that.
they do.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
they
I
definitely
think they're
coincide.
they're so intertwined. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why the name of the episode is literally going to be Aliens and Ancient Civilizations. So I will
Perfect.
definitely
It
have you back
tracks.
for that. So
Yeah, I'm down for that. 100%.
all right, sounds like a plan. You have anything to plug here? Anything? I always open up the last of the show here for anything that you want to promote or anything else you got going on, or maybe your handles for the video games if you're still doing that stuff. Because this
Oh
dude, if
man.
anybody knows,
Oh,
this dude
Twitch.
literally is probably one of the best Call of Duty players like I've ever known.
I
Like,
appreciate
the
it. I
fact that
appreciate the gas.
I was no, literally like I was actually happy to be a part of one of the games where he had like 38 kills in a matter of like nothing. It was insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't need to self promote, but I do want to thank you for having me on. I
Oh, no
had a
problem, man.
good
Thank
time on
you
the episode.
for sure.
And yeah, I look forward to being back for more. I definitely want to do that aliens and ancient civilization.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna have you on then.
But yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here. Happy to catch up with you guys. I haven't seen
Hell yeah,
y'all in months, man.
yeah.
I
You're a
know.
Georgia guy now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Savannah, Georgia now.
go
So
Bulldogs.
no. I don't like the. I will never say that, but I am in dog country.
Yes, you are in dog country.
You like
But
You're a Gators fan, maybe.
yeah, I'm a Florida Gator
There
fan.
you go.
But yeah, I mean, I just again want to thank y'all for having me, and I had a good time. I
Definitely.
hope everyone who's listening or watching, just try to learn more about space. I guess
Yeah,
It's-
Yeah.
keep your mind open. You
keep your
never
mind
know.
open. That's
You
it,
never
man.
know. All right. See you later, man.
Guys, see you later.
Peace.